Hey, I got a 2011 Lexus LS460. Got an ABS code 1391. All the lights out on the dash for the brake system are on. And I cleared it and it comes back. They took it to the dealer. The dealer says it needs the ABS unit itself. It has an internal leak. It's either internal or external. There's no external leaks. It's not low on fluid. So we're gonna replace this. Got it from a junkyard online. They say it's compatible. They checked it by the VIN. So we're gonna replace it, swap it out. Yay. Also, they say they need a special tool to help bleed it. Well, we're gonna try to hopefully get by without having a special tool. But here it is inside there. You need to take this panel off and this panel off right here. Take this panel and this panel off. If you put your hand right here, you'll end up cracking it. So you want to take that one out and this panel here. This is what that one looks like, and the front one looks like. See, and this one's already been cracked, okay? They got these stupid little connectors on there. You gotta get in there and pull them up. But I have quite a few of these connectors, so I just pulled them up with my door panel tool. So, got that up. Got it so you can lift it up easily, so you can take the tire off. You might have to get inside down below because there's two studs sticking down to get to the bottom. And we'll need to remove this module, this reservoir, disconnect some wire harnesses, and those brake lines right there, make sure you take a picture of them. Maybe you want to mark them so you know where which ones are which, different color code, different zip ties, color code zip ties. Take a picture of it then. But the main thing first off is to disconnect your battery, your negative. And then I was wondering about having to remove this cover. So it looks kind of tricky because of the wiper arm right here. Never took one off, so but we're gonna try to do it without it. So got my panels off and the cover on, ready to jack up. I'm gonna disconnect my battery, and then I'm gonna come over here and start stripping some parts, and I'll let you know. Now to get to the access to the battery, I removed this panel here, and then I removed this panel. It goes on top of the cowl. Had a bunch of clips in it, and picked it up, put it aside, disconnect my negative. Okay. I removed the clip here, so I can pick this piece up. And this piece here is you push it in, so you can unget it off of that. It goes in there like that. Push the clip in, you can pull it up. It unclips over here. You might want to do is stick a wedge in there, right there, where my hand is, stick it under there, help hold it up, or stick a screwdriver in there. Okay, something to help hold that up out of the way. And stuck a small 2x4 in there to show you. If you had a smaller one, you stick a smaller one in there. That way it's not so long sticking out. Okay. Now I'm gonna unbolt this, get this off of here. It's got some tape on there, you gotta cut and you can get to the clip. And then there are two bolts holding this on. There's a bolt here, there's a bolt back there. Lift that up. You can unbolt this reservoir and get that out of the way. And then you got these two clips over here holding that on. Those wires on. When you undo wires, look at them, make sure they're not bent or burnt or deformed in any way. This module, it has 3 of them on it. Got 1, 2, 3, okay? And then this is loose with 2. What I'm gonna do is get my little sucker. I got a sucker and I'm gonna suck the brake fluid out of it if I can. It's got a screen in there, so I don't know if I can. Have to remove the screen to get the sucker down way in there. Yep, and I can remove some of it. Okay, with my sucker, I'll suck it out what I can, and then I'll undo my lines. There's my sucker, it's vacuum operated. I got it at Harbor Freight, $35. So, move it around in there and suck what you can suck up. And once you're done sucking it up, kind of get all the fluid come out of your hose so it doesn't dip on all over the place. And the screen, I just get the notches on and you turn it counterclockwise and get them out from around it. I'll put it back in, put it there, and turn it. Do the same thing to get it out. You want to just kind of pick it up a little bit and then turn it. Now it's in there, okay? Put the cap back on, you don't get no dirt in there. This thing makes my air compressor run all day. So now, next move. Okay, you cut the tape off of this, and then you gotta go underneath, and you gotta raise this little piece up with a little screwdriver, then you can pull it off with a metal tab. Okay, so now this is kind of like sitting off to the side. Now I gotta undo that. I use my door panel tool for that. Unplug the reservoir level sensor. It clips down here in the base, and then you unplug it, push on a little tab. That way you can get to it. Undo the hose clamp on the upper hose, and then you get back access to the other two lines on the back. You gotta push down on the plastic green clips, the outer pieces. See? Anyway, this piece and this piece that are sticking up above, just want to spread them open a little bit and push the little green yellow tabs down, then you can pull the hose off. Same thing with the one down below. And you get it out, and then you can drain the rest of the fluid off. Okay, now getting closer. Let's see what's next. So I'm going to remove this off that bracket, so you got to push in a little tab right there, and you can pull it up because this thing gets stuck in a little hole right there. Pull that up, and you can remove the 3 screws. 1, 2, 3. And pull this bracket up out of the way. Okay, the wire harness right here clips into the bracket. Okay, so you need to pry that section up off the bracket, and then take the bracket out. Okay. Okay, now you have to remove that bolt and that bolt. Okay, because that bolt connects to the bracket that goes down below. See the angle on up right here, coming up? That's part of this bracket. Okay. I got those, you get those two, and then you can undo your wire harness there, those two, and then that one. That's a special clip on there. I'll have to show you how to take that one off. You need to remove this bracket. It's got 2 more nuts on it because you removed the 12 that was there, 12 head, and a 10 millimeter head there with a big washer on it, went over that. Then you got over here off to the side, you got another 10 nut, another 10 nut. And you're gonna unbolt this, moves around, then it wraps around that back wire harness on this module, goes around this, so you gotta twist it to get it out of there. And remember that when you go back together. And these back harnesses, you gotta push down on this one. And the same thing on this one, you gotta push down this tab and lift that up, okay? If you can't get it, you have to stick a little screwdriver in there and pick them up yourself. Same time pulling on them, okay? Next is this back harness. Okay, lift up the white. Get over here, a little screwdriver, pick up on the white, pick it up equally, lift it up. As you're picking it up, the whole harness kind of slides off. Pull it up, pull on the harness. And it comes up. Okay, this has got to be fully up to get that off. Okay, so now we got that off. Now you want to undo it with your door panel tool, unclip it from the harness right there. It. Unclip that. Okay, it's unclipped. Okay, electrically, I think we're unhooked from it electrically. Now we just got to figure out how to get to the bottom nuts on that bracket. And here's our unit. We got to get to these. Gotta get to those. This is a mount. I think I'm gonna just slide in. So, look at yours, see what you got. So if you, no matter what you do underneath here, you still can't get that up. So you need to get this bracket undone from the body. So I'm gonna look at that now. Okay, remove your front tire, left front. Get your wheel lock key, remove it. And then you want to remove all the little 10mm screws up underneath here that you can, except for down here. This panel goes up underneath with my jacks on it, so I removed the 10mm head screws and then a couple of the clips. And then I reached inside the fender and pulled this piece down. And see those two shiny nuts on the flat part by the wire harness there? Those are the two I need to remove. So I'm gonna take those two out and I'm gonna lower it down and see how my module is. See if it's loose, then I'll work on the lines. Okay. And I'll show you the screws right there. Okay. Screws and some clips. Those two nuts are 12s, okay? Okay. Pretty loose now. Now I gotta undo my lines, remember? To mark them. All right, and then take a picture of them. There they are, see them? Okay. Use a 10mm line wrench, break them loose, then use a regular open end wrench, open end, a line wrench, tubing wrench. Break them loose, and as you take them off, put them off to the side. Might want to untake them out of the little clip so you can get them out a little bit more better. Take them off one at a time as they come out. You know, I'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Make sure you marked them and took a picture of them. Okay, I loosened this one up, but I can't pull it out because it hits that one, the red one. So I need to take that one off, get it up out of the way. Okay, and then I can remove the whole thing. Okay, get this one out of the way first, then you can pull that one out. On that one, remember, I went down to the master down there, and I just broke it loose a little bit so I can turn it. Okay. Okay, and I removed this one here, unclipped it from the clip, flip the clip over, pull this piece up out of the way, break the line loose on that one, get this one out. A little toughy, need a wrench. Okay, I got that one loose. All the lines are off. Okay, now we need to do is hold the lines back and pull that module up out of there. Okay, I put a bungee cord around the lines, pull it over here to the AC line. It's pretty tight, got it up. It's almost out. Okay, I pulled it up out of there. This gave me a big problem. Okay, and my flex hoses, the big lines that go to the the reservoir, them kind of hanged up a little bit, and I had to come up with it a little bit. Other than that, it came out. Here it is. Came out. Just match everything. Make sure the other ones, everything's needs to be swapped. That one bracket was sticking out. I said I had a problem. I was hitting this pressurized canister here. Can't remember what they call it, but here it is. He's out. Okay. Now I need to switch my necessary parts and put it in. Well, don't let anything needs to be switched, because I thought this was broken, but it's actually the same looking there. So make sure you look and see where that goes. Okay. Now you just gotta put it in there, and careful not to cut your reservoir lines or crack any modules or anything like that. And this piece here, that's just the way it is. It's part of the motor. It's a motor mount. I thought they had a slot that maybe that went in there, but nope. Okay, so it's ready to go in. And make sure you clean off the block and remove your fittings that they left in there when they cut them off, if you got a used one. Allow no dirt to go in there. Blow it off around the threads and all that with a blowgun. Okay, I put it in with the firewall right here. Raise that cowl up a little bit, get them underneath there. Twisted it a little bit here and there. Made sure I got that little bracket that was sticking out past my hoses and my accumulator here, pressure tank. And then got down in there, and now it's sitting in there. Now we need to do is just find out where the holes are for them bolts. Okay, make sure your hoses are up. Make sure your hoses are up, not pinched down in there, and make sure you didn't pinch any wire harness down in there. Make sure everything's free and moving, okay? And then feel where them studs are. And when you think you got them in there, raise it up and look and see if you see them sticking through. If they're sticking through, put your nuts on them and tighten them up, and then put your wheel well back together. Shine a light down in there, and you'll be able to see the holes. And if you've been moving around a lot, you'll see the scratches, but you'll see the hole, and then you can put that, you can see the round black right there. Finger's right on it. Right above my finger, it's a round black thing, that's where the stud's at. You put it in the hole and work the other one and fill the other hole. And then go down below and look inside the wheel well, make sure they're on. Okay, I got my nuts on, I tighten them up. Now all I need to do is push my inner fender skirt back up in there and get it all lined up. Okay, got all my screws in. Now all I need to do is put my little fasteners in. Remember, the small washer goes there on the lower part of the fender. Okay. Okay, inner fender well is in. Now it's time for my lines. Start with the back one. The last one first. Okay, line the line up best you can. Make sure it's even. Start it with your fingers. If it stops, you can put a wrench on it, but be careful and make sure that it's perfectly straight. You know, look at it forward and sideways. And if we use the wrench, use it slowly. If it gets tight, don't push it any farther, take it back off. Make sure you look at it and start it straight. Okay, when you got it all the way down, tighten it up. Don't bear down on it, but if you're gonna tighten it, when you do tighten it up, make sure you hold the assembly so you don't put all the stress against the mounts. So what you wanna do is you wanna tighten it up, and then you wanna loosen it up. And just leave it loose until after you think you got all the air out of the system. Loosen it up. That's like maybe 1/8 of a turn. Okay, that's good. That allows some air to come out once you get some fluid in there, and hopefully get some gravity bleed going. Now we'll go with the next line. The next line is started and tightened and then backed off, loosened up. 1/8 of a turn. Now you go with the next one. Okay, then we got this one. This one's next. Remember, these two are together, and then we had this one that went in front of it. Remember that one? Had to remove that one before that, so you can get this one out of the way. So now it's this one's turn. This one got bent a little bit, so I just got to eyeball them in there and get them started. So I had to pull on them with the bungee cord, so just need to line it up and start it. Okay, got that one up. Okay, reason why I snug them up, tighten them up first is because I'm actually seating them, because they're from different components, so you gotta reseat them. So it's easier to reseat them now and reseat them when you're doing your final torque on them. So it just helps things out. Okay, now we go with the next one. So that'll be the next one. Next one's next. Okay, did the next one. Had to loop it underneath this one. And now this one's gonna have to, it's gonna have to go underneath there, so I gotta take this one back off. Nice, because it needs to go underneath it. Well, I'll just do it like that. Shove it underneath there. Went underneath that one, so there. Now I'll start that one. So I shoved this one underneath that one. Shoved this one underneath that one. Okay. Okay, my lines are all started, snugged, tightened, and then I backed them off 1/8 of a turn. And now when I do, after I make sure I got air out of them, then I'll tighten them up with a crow's foot 10. Okay, or you can reach in there with a wrench best you can. If you got a 10 millimeter crow's foot, that'd be perfect. Now it's to do our wire harness. I believe that one we clipped down there was next. Clip them in, and then this one. And as you're putting that big one on, at the same time you're pushing that white clip down. Before you plug that big one in, you might want to spray some contact cleaner inside the module and inside the connector, and blow it out with a blowgun. Because you never know, I might have some brake fluid in there. Okay, then put it on there, line it up, push it on slowly. As you push it on slowly, you want to push down on the clip at the same time. Clips in, so that's good. Now all I need to do is put our other brackets in. Just the way we took them apart. Now this bracket, remember, it's got the 2 nuts and the big washer bolt. Okay, remember that one got twisted behind the wire harness, goes behind there. But you just pull this thing up out of the way, it falls right in there. Okay, you got that bracket in there. And you gotta fish this module back in there. It goes underneath this line. Get your nut there, and a nut there, and your bolt down there. Tighten them up. Remember, that's the big wash head bolt. Put this module back in there. Fits right in there, kind of wedges underneath this brake line. Kind of tight fit. Make sure your hoses are ready. And put your bolt, nut. Okay, 2 bolts and a nut. And now it's my reservoir bracket. Goes in there like that, okay? That harness clips into here, right there, down there. All right, mounts in there like that. Before you put your reservoir bracket on, make sure you put your 12 millimeter bolt back down in there for your ABS unit bracket. Okay, straight down there, right there. Okay, see it down there? 1mm head. That one. Put that one in, then you can do your bracket. Okay, put the bracket in looking like that. Remember this piece flat up, so this can go on it. You got your short bolt, and a little bolt with a washer on it. Start that one first, line that one up because it's got a notch on it, and then get that one in there, okay? Got them tight. Make sure your hoses are accessible. And you can put this relay box, fuse box back in there. Make sure your lines are accessible. Let's get to our reservoir next. Push your line on all the way. And when the line's all the way, you can push the clip up. If you can't push the clip up, the line's not on all the way. So do not force it. Once the line is on all the way, then you can push the clip up, okay? Next, we'll do the next one. Now I have to get the clip off the other unit. Okay, I got it on. If you have to take that clip off and want to put it on another, it's kind of confusing. So make sure you start the clip onto the connector first. The little tabs have to go in first, and then inside there are just little slots, little tabs sticking out that are yellow, and they got to go inside the connector equally too and get them started. Then you can put the line on there and get it bombed out, and then you can push the clip up. You have to look at them real carefully to see how they function if you got it apart. Okay, so that's all good. So now I need to put my 2 bolts in, and don't forget your level sensor. Connect that up. Okay, level sensor connected and pushed in. Your upper hose on and your clamp on. This harness into the bracket. This harness goes pushed into the reservoir. And then this little connector gets pushed onto the little clip. Okay, now what we're gonna do is put some brake fluid in here. And we're gonna let it sit for a while and see if anything comes up out of those fittings. Okay, I gravity bled it. Fluid was coming out of these lines, so it came out of the master cylinder, came up out of there. So then I tightened them up. Now let it sit for a while, and it slowly came out, this one and that one, the 2 outer ones, but it wasn't coming out very good. So I snugged them up and loosened them up just a little bit, turned the key on, pushed the pedal to the floor a couple times, and fluid was coming out of all 4 fittings. And I did that like 10 times. And I kept filling the master up to make sure I didn't lose any. And the fluid was coming out pretty clean. So then I snugged them up a little bit more, pushed them to the floor a little bit and make sure a little bit of fluid was coming out of them. And then I tightened them up. Okay, now I went inside the car, I started it, pushed the pedal to the floor, pedal felt good, and no lights were on, but that's probably because I had the battery disconnected. And so what I need to do is finish putting it back together, and then I'll need to drive it and see how it acts, okay? If the light doesn't come back on, then we're good, but if the light comes back on, then it needs to be re-bled. I drove it 20 miles, light didn't come on. Hopefully it doesn't come back on. I'm gonna drive another 20 miles. And if it comes on, I'll let you know. Drove around about 30 miles. Drove around a bunch of times. Total about 30 miles. Everything seems good. Went onto some grassy areas in a field, slammed on the brakes. And like brakes worked properly. No lights, no problems. All set.